Rewriting your story, how resilience transforms trauma into triumph. Have you ever wondered what your life would look like if your past didn't define your future? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Crystal Willis, a woman whose journey from homelessness and abuse to entrepreneurial success left me profoundly moved. Crystal isn't just another success story. She's a revolutionary force challenging everything we think we know about human potential after trauma. Her work as what she calls a story alchemist has transformed countless lives, including my own perspective on resilience. The truth is, we all carry stories that could either anchor us to our past or propel us forward. The difference lies in how we choose to read those chapters of our lives. When Crystal shared how she survived assault, divorce, and homelessness while still pursuing her dreams in the entertainment industry, I found myself wondering how many of us believe our worst moments are our final definition. The world will try to convince you that your trauma is your identity, Crystal told me, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. But your trauma is just one chapter in a much longer story that you get to write. This isn't some fluffy, feel good platitude. This is the hard earned wisdom of someone who refused to let circumstances dictate her destiny. As a young Black woman facing the intersecting challenges of gender bias and societal expectations, Crystal Devon Mapes built her own beauty company from the ground up. She didn't just overcome obstacles, she transformed them into stepping stones. Let's be honest for a moment. Society loves a good victim narrative. We're taught that certain experiences should diminish us, should keep us small and apologetic for the space we occupy. But what if we flip that script entirely? Crystal did exactly that. After experiencing homelessness, instead of internalizing shame, she channeled her experiences into becoming what she calls a story alchemist, someone who transforms painful narratives into powerful catalysts for change. I'll admit, when I first heard her story, part of me thought, well, that's Crystal. She must be exceptional. And yes, she is extraordinary, but her resilience isn't some rare magical quality. It's a muscle that can be developed, a choice that can be made daily, a practice that transforms not just our circumstances, but our very identity. During our conversation, Crystal shared something that stopped me in my tracks. She said, I realized I could either be defined by what happened to me or I could define what happens next. Think about that for a moment. The power to define what happens next. That's not just empowering, it's revolutionary, especially for those who've been told explicitly or implicitly that their past mistakes, traumas, or circumstances have permanently limited their potential. Crystal's journey from teenage motherhood to obtaining multiple professional licenses as a registered nurse in real estate and insurance demonstrates that education and professional growth remain within reach regardless of where you start. She didn't achieve these milestones despite her challenges. In many ways, she achieved them because those challenges forged in her an unshakable determination. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds great, but my situation is different. My obstacles are too big, too entrenched. I hear you. And so would Crystal. When she appeared on the Bigger Than Food podcast, Crystal spoke candidly about battling self doubt stemming from early motherhood, divorce, and abuse. These weren't small hurdles she casually stepped over. They were mountains that sometimes seemed insurmountable. The difference wasn't in the size of her obstacles, but in her refusal to let them become her permanent address. Proximity to greatness changes you, Crystal shared during that podcast. She deliberately sought out mentors and support networks through digital platforms, podcasts, and social channels where stories like hers were amplified. She understood that transformation rarely happens in isolation. This is where many of us miss a crucial step in our own healing journeys. We try to overcome alone, believing that independence equals strength. But Crystal's story reveals a different truth. Community doesn't diminish our resilience, it magnifies it. As a young Black woman entrepreneur, Crystal Devon Mapes faced the dual challenges of gender bias in business leadership and societal expectations. Her response: she led fearlessly with passion, leveraged social media for visibility, and, this is key, she mentored other minority women. In doing so, she didn't just build a successful brand recognized for empowerment. She created a ripple effect that inspired other Black women to pursue entrepreneurship. She understood that true success isn't just about personal achievement, it's about widening the path for others. There's something profoundly powerful about this approach to overcoming adversity. When we shift our focus from merely surviving our circumstances to using them as a platform to elevate others, something transformative happens. Our narrative changes from victim to catalyst. Crystal Willis exemplifies this transformation. After overcoming repeated setbacks, she refused a victim identity and instead used every challenge as narrative fuel. She broke into the entertainment industry despite significant barriers and now mentors aspiring creatives facing similar obstacles. Her impact: she's encouraged broader acceptance of diverse backgrounds within creative industries, proving that our most painful experiences can become our most powerful contributions. Now, I want to be clear about something. Celebrating resilience doesn't mean minimizing trauma. What happened to Crystal, the assault, the homelessness, the struggles of early motherhood, these experiences were genuinely devastating. Acknowledging the reality of trauma is essential to authentic healing. But here's where Crystal's wisdom offers us a life changing perspective. Acknowledging trauma and being defined by it are two entirely different things. During our interview, Crystal shared how she's used podcasting and media appearances strategically to broaden her reach beyond her local community into global consciousness. She's become a featured guest on major podcasts, amplifying her motivational message and sparking a ripple effect among listeners. This strategic sharing of her story wasn't just cathartic for her, it became a lifeline for others struggling in silence. By openly discussing her experiences on social media and through her upcoming book, Crystal demonstrates how telling your truth can empower others who may be facing similar challenges. She uses her platform not just for motivation, but as a call to action for others to change lives daily. This is perhaps one of the most powerful aspects of resilience: its ability to transform personal pain into collective healing. I'm reminded of something Crystal said that perfectly captures this idea. Your story isn't just for you. Someone else needs to hear that they can survive what you survived. Think about that. Your darkest moments, your biggest struggles, they're not just obstacles to overcome. They're credentials that qualify you to help others navigate similar terrain. This perspective doesn't just heal us, it gives purpose to our pain. It transforms our scars from sources of shame into badges of honor, evidence not of what we endured, but of what we overcame. Crystal began with humble roots and used personal struggles as fuel for growth. She committed early on to helping others rise alongside her. This commitment wasn't secondary to her success, it was integral to it. As she built her beauty company, she simultaneously established mentorship initiatives within her community. She became CEO of her own company at a young age while broadening representation of Black female CEOs in the beauty industry. Her approach challenges the conventional wisdom that says we must make it before we can help others. Crystal shows us that lifting as we climb doesn't slow our ascent, it accelerates it by giving our journey deeper meaning and purpose. During our conversation, Crystal shared how she channeled her trauma into creative work as a story alchemist. She built expertise by sharing authentic experiences publicly, establishing credibility as an expert against all odds, and becoming a recognized voice advocating for survivor success stories. This alchemy, this transformation of pain into power isn't magic. It's a deliberate choice made daily, sometimes hourly, to reframe our relationship with our past. So here we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to let our traumas define us, or we can choose to define what happens next. We can hide our scars, or we can use them to light the way for others walking similar paths. I challenge you today. Look at your life story with new eyes. That chapter you've been trying to tear out, it might be the very one that qualifies you to change someone else's ending. That pain you've been hiding, it might be precisely what someone else needs to see to believe their own healing is possible. Your story isn't finished. In fact, the most powerful chapters may be the ones you're writing right now. The question isn't whether you've experienced trauma, it's what you choose to do with it. Will you let it define you? Or will you, like Crystal, transform it into a catalyst for change? The choice is yours. And that choice, that power to define what happens next, might just be the most revolutionary act of all. Thank you.